So here's the 3-phase plan. You need to identify what is not working in your life. You need to identify where it is that you are looking to go, the vision of the person that you will want to be. And the bridge towards that is curiosity. Curiosity occurs and does occur in this real world. And your rite of passage in this moment, you are not going to go out and fight a damn lion or a tiger or anything like that. So I'm not asking you to do that or ayahuasca. What I'm asking you to do is look someone in the eye and ask for some reflection or feedback about who they think you are. That is your rite of passage. Welcome to Going All In, a podcast for men. Going All In is a podcast for men that are looking to reinvent themselves. It is a podcast for men that are looking to take their lives to the next level, that are looking to redefine what it means to be a man, to be a leader, to be a father, to be a husband, to be the human being that they want to be in the world. That is what Going All In is all about. Fully committing to becoming the man that you said that you wanted to become. Boom. My name is Sanyika The Firestarter Street. I am your host. And I am also proof of what happens when you go all in. I am definitely proof of that. I am proof of what life looks like when you are not going all in. I am proof of what life looks like when you do go all in, and the way that you can transform your life in the snap of a finger. So this program, this show, this whatever you want to call it is a podcast for men that are looking to take their lives to the next level. Let me tell you who it's not for. This podcast is not for men that are looking for a hyper-sensationalized version of what it means to be a man. This is not a testosterone off. You'll get a few Firestarter isms, but it is not a testosterone off. This is not about creating some hyper-sensationalized version of what it means to be masculine, to be male, and all that other kind of stuff coming from a guy, especially a guy like me. This is about digging into some of the human traits that make men men. And one of the things that we are going to be digging into this is about peeling back the layers, because this hyper-sensationalized version of masculinity is what has many of y'all drowning in your life. Drowning in your life. Drowning. Half of y'all don't even realize you're in the kiddie pool, but drowning nonetheless. So this podcast is about giving you the tactics, the tools, the rules, the strategies to become a better version of yourself as a man. If you are with me, say yeah. If you're with me, say yeah, because we about to get in it. So again, my name is Sanyika The Firestarter Street. I am your host. I am a men's performance coach. I am a leadership mentor to men. I am an executive coach to men that are perform at a high level and also that want to take their lives to the next level, that want to step into greater leadership in their lives, for men that want to reinvent themselves. I help men reinvent themselves. And it's a process to reinvent yourself. It's a technique. That's why I created a platform called the All In Method. Because the most important thing that you need to reinvent yourself is you need to be fully committed to that reinvention. And as we will talk about more and more and more and more, is that when we talk about all means alignment. And when we talk about the I-N, that means integrity. Men who operate in alignment and in integrity are men who can literally transform the world. So, that being said, I'm excited to jump into this first episode of Going All In, a podcast for men. This episode is brought to you by the All In Method. So you will hear a lot about the All In Method. You will hear a lot about the work that we do at the All In Method to help men take their lives to the next level. And if you are looking to take your life to the next level, we have tons and tons and tons of ways to be able to help you to do that. But my mission on this planet is to help 1 million men reinvent their business, their body, and their being, and to do that through brotherhood, right? To do that in a way so that you have community, you have support, and you can take your business to the next level. You can take your body to the next level. You can take your being, your mindset, your attitude, the way that you see yourself, the way that you view yourself to the next level. That is the intention of this podcast. That is the intention of my existence on this planet. And it's come to me as a realization because I've come to realize that this is a really important moment in time. Like, we're transitioning from a post-COVID world. I mean, we're still in a COVID world, but we're transitioning out of the lockdown pandemic era and transitioning into what the world looks like as a result of everybody being away from everybody else. So I really wanted to talk about today's topic, which is the state of men, the state of men, the state of manhood as we stand today. Like, what does it mean to be a man today? What does that actually mean for you? No, literally, like, what does it mean? You know, we adopt these definitions of what it means to be a man. And the idea is that many of us have adopted all of this language, hearsay, conjecture, ideology, hand-me-down beliefs, social media values. Hey, I'm going to tout this value on social media. I'm going to make this my social media stand. And then when I stand in real life, I'm not standing, I'm really sitting down because my stand isn't really a stand. It's just a show. So yeah, there will be a bit of calling you out and calling you forward in this podcast also. But what is the state of men? What is the state of manhood today? I wanted to give you some really, really powerful stats. Check this out. Men are 40% more likely in a health and lifestyle capacity. Men are 40% more likely to skip recommended cholesterol screenings. The rate of non-illness care visits by women was 100% higher. This means that women are 100% more likely to visit the doctor. 24.6% of men with a mental illness do not seek services because they believe they can handle the problem without treatment. Goodness gracious, we think we are doctors, right? Gotta know everything. On disease, 1 in 2 men are diagnosed with cancer in their lifetime. 33% of men aged 20 and over have hypertension. 36.6% of men aged 20 and over are obese. On specific races, diabetes is 1.5 times more common among African American men. Stroke is 30% more common among Hispanic men. Obesity is 1.3 times more common among African American and Latino boys aged 6 to 11. Finally, mortality rates. Men are 1.5 times more likely to die of heart disease, cancer, and respiratory disease. Men are 3 to 7 more times likely to commit suicide. Men account for 55% of the workforce, but 92% of workplace deaths. Men and boys have a higher death rate in 9 out of the 10 leading causes of death. I'm just going to let all that simmer. Those are pulled from hospital statistical analysis and surveys. And then let's move to a broader context. We have been in isolation for more than a year and a half, at least in the US, and for some people even longer. Some people are still going through a lockdown right now when this episode is being filmed in late fall of 2021. Some of you men are still going through a lockdown. Some of you men are still going through a period of time where you are currently being isolated. Or so many of the men who previously felt lonely and isolated and without community, now it's just being reaffirmed because you're alone. It's proving your theory to be true. Some of you are with partners who you were only committed to because you had a pandemic relationship, pandemic love, pandemic intimacy. 2 people who have to be in the house together, and then you decided to stay together. And as you exit the pandemic, you realize that you weren't equipped with the tools to be able to navigate the relationship effectively. So now there's an increase and influx. Some of you have been to the point where you have not addressed your mental health issues, your mental illness. Some of you called it the COVID-19 pounds, those pandemic pounds. And as a result of stepping into those pandemic pounds, now you are in a space where not only are you experiencing pandemic pounds, but those pounds have doubled and tripled. It wasn't just 19, it's almost turned into 60. Health, wellness, and the craving to get back to the way it was. Craving to get back to the way it was instead of the way that you envisioned it could possibly be. Instead of creating the new future that you were looking to create while the pandemic was occurring, you were fretting about the current present only to be revisited by the past as a result of the pandemic being over. Meaning, as soon as the pandemic was over, it was like, I got to go right back to doing the things I was doing before the pandemic because that was my lifestyle. Clinging to the way things used to be. This podcast is a wake-up call for you. This podcast is about you stepping into the new version of yourself. This podcast is about what it means to take your life to the next level. I am raising the urgency level in your environment at this present moment. So whatever it is that you are doing, it is time for you to stop doing whatever it is that you are doing and listen very attentively and closely, because we are about to break this down so that it is forever broken. You need to go all in your life. I will explain the rules and the tools and the commitment of this game and this podcast. Are you ready? Here's the rules. Listen to the whole damn episode. Listen to the whole damn thing. If you didn't listen to the whole episode, then I am giving you a reminder that you need to listen to the whole episode, top to bottom. If you start an episode, finish it. Number one. Number two, the rules. When you come to this episode, you listen with pen and pad in hand, ready to take notes. And the way that I tell my clients and people, don't take notes because I am going to give you something of value. Take notes because you are brilliant and your ideas are valuable. I take notes everywhere, literally everywhere. So this is an opportunity for you to take notes everywhere. Rule number one, listen to the whole episode. Rule number two, take notes. Rule number three, be present. Listen intently with your presence. Your presence is the most powerful gift that you can give, and many of you are occupied doing nothing. And at the same time, the lack of presence in your relationship is showing. Your lack of presence in your business is showing. The lack of presence in the places where you need to be present is showing. Rule number one, listen to the whole damn episode. Rule number two, take notes. Rule number three, be present. These are the tools that you will need. You will need a pen and paper or something to write with. Write in your phone. Your notepad should be filled with this and with valuable tidbits and tips and tricks and strategies and all of that. You should receive tons of downloads as a result of listening to this. And the third thing I will tell you is the commitment. My commitment to you is to bring it every single episode. Every single episode, you will get 3 powerful takeaways or 1 powerful belief shift in your paradigm or 1 powerful way that you need to look at the world in a new way. Every single episode, I will give you a valuable takeaway that you can take to the bank and it will transform your life. Every single episode, I will give you something that's going to transform your life. That is my guarantee. Those are the rules. Those are the tools. That's my commitment. What are you committed to? What are you committed to? It's a great question. One of the biggest experiences that I have as it relates to the state of men today, one of the biggest experiences that I come across, which is really quite profound, is that we are not taught how to be men. You know, I'm originally from Washington, D.C. I am the youngest of 4 kids. My full name is Sanyika The. My last name is Street. Youngest of 4 kids, and my primary thought process was informed by 2 people, my mother and my sister. You know, my brothers influenced me as I got older, but really from the development process, I was really raised by 2 women. And, you know, it gave me a ton of different soft skills: empathy, listening, attentiveness, presence, receptivity, nurturing, compassion, love, like those soft skills. And you know, those skills that taught me how to be human. And then as I got older and I started to interact with my brothers, I started to understand some more more tactical skills about understanding how to be assertive and dynamic, how to hold space, how to be aggressive. And, you know, for me, for those of y'all that do not know, I'm a pretty large human being. I'm 6'8", I weigh 290 pounds. So for me, being aggressive was also, at the same time, it was important for men to learn how to be aggressive. For me, learning how to be aggressive was a challenge because I've always been seen as a threat in many instances because of my size and my presence and my nature. I was always seen as a potential threat, just literally by walking into a room. So what it did is I realized over time, it made me feel like I did not belong. Like I was not, I didn't necessarily have the skills or the awareness or the understanding or the know-how to really own my version of masculinity. Right. And I never was taught how to be a man. And then I realized something. It's like, it's not that you're just not taught how to be a man. I realized that it's not just that you're not taught. Because I was thinking about it. I was like, where do men go to learn how to be men? And it's not that we're not taught we're not taught how to be men. We're also not really taught much how to be anything. We're told. We're not taught. Telling versus teaching. It's a really important distinction. I can tell you that a man is assertive. I can tell you that a man is aggressive. But to teach you how to be assertive and aggressive is a completely different dynamic. And so I think that what has happened is that men come sometimes to be told how to be a man. And we've gone from this dynamic of not understanding what it means to be a man to now stepping into the paradigm of what we believe it means of being told what it means to be a man. But there's still a dynamic layer in terms of what it means to teach a man how to be a man. To actually teach you how. Here's the thing I didn't realize. I didn't realize that that every value that exists under the sun can be taught. This is where I talk about social media values. I didn't realize that values can be taught. I thought that there were innate qualities that people just got as a result of who they were, and that some people were virtuous and leaders and honest and transparent and vulnerable. Like, yes, and some people have a natural proclivity to being the kind of person who can just, be honest or be a leader or be some of those things. But here's the thing I realize is that for those of you who are seeking to step into a new way of being, step into a new way of how you show up in the world as a man. And if you are at the juncture where you feel like, man, I'm not even sure how to be able to incorporate these skills or virtues into my reality, let me be the first person to say that you can actually learn these skills. They are skills. Honesty is a skill. You can learn it. Transparency is a skill. You can learn it. Vulnerability is a skill. You can learn it. All of these different things are skills. And what I believe happens is that we go into these paradigms, or we go to men that we respect, or we go to men that we see on TV, or these highly charismatic guys with great energy and bombastic qualities and all this other kind of stuff, great magnetizers, and they use their magnetism and they tell you what it means to be a man, as opposed to teaching you how to be a man. My intention is to tell and to teach. It's to do both. So I just wanted to inform you that those values and those virtues that you are seeking, they can be taught. Here's what I realized in my own journey. I didn't have those skills. Here's the background. And I always start from this place because it's really important for you to understand that even though I currently have a TV show that's being shown to over 30 million people, I've been featured in international magazines that travel around the world. I have coached some of the highest performing men in the world. I have a beautiful wife. I have 2 great kids, a stepson and a newborn. I just got married. Like, my life is literally transformed. So much of that literally happened this year. But my life is literally transformed. But about 7 years ago, I was broken. I was financially broke. I was emotionally broken. I had I call it a rock bottom sandwich, because I was already at rock bottom, and then rock bottom smashed on top of me. It was like an Oreo cookie. It's like an Oreo cookie, and I was the filling. Financially broke, emotionally broken, 2 DUIs, girlfriend paying the bills, 40 pounds overweight, driving a 92 BMW 325i that I got by borrowing $2,500 from my sister at 35 years old because I was working a job making $11 an hour at a reverse phone lookup company called Spokio, and I was talking to old women who got their money taken away from them by meeting guys on dating websites, and they were using reverse phone lookup to find the guy that took them for their money on the dating site. That was literally my life. Man, that's one hell of a life. Kanye said that's one hell of a life. And it was one hell of a life. It was the lowest period of time in my life. And what I have realized as a result is because, I listen, but prior to that, I was doing national TV shows. I moved out from DC to LA 15 years ago. So the period where I really hit rock bottom was 7 years ago. But 15 years ago, I moved to LA from DC. I was working and doing national TV shows. I did 3 national commercials. I did a couple TV shows, and I did a couple movies. I was acting, my big ass acting. Then I got into promoting nightclubs and some of the biggest parties in LA, and I transitioned from promoting nightclubs to doing what I really love to do, which is songwriting. I got signed to a label on Universal Music Group. I started working with artists like Too Short. I wrote songs with artists like Nick Lachey and 98 Degrees. We did their record when they went back on the road with Backstreet Boys. I've accomplished some really phenomenal things in my life. But the one thing I realized when I was pursuing songwriting was that in the pursuit of songwriting, you need to have good human qualities, like these virtues, those values that I talked about. And I didn't realize that I didn't have them. I wasn't honest. I didn't know how to be honest. I didn't know how to be transparent. I didn't know how to be vulnerable. So that's where I hit my first rock bottom, right? So I was already at rock bottom. That was my first rock bottom. And so I fell into a depression, developed a drinking problem. Anybody here got a drinking problem? Or know what a drinking problem is? By the way, here's the definition of the distinction between an alcoholic and having a drinking problem. I never categorized myself as an alcoholic. I didn't wake up during the day or have a codependency physically to alcohol. Here's what I did have, though, is that my definition of a drinking problem is that whenever you drink, you have problems. I had a drinking problem. Okay? So drinking problem, all those different things that were happening in my universe. And I was depressed because I didn't know how to let it all out. So much shame, so much guilt, crippled anxiety, the fear of being seen, the fear of being exposed, feeling like a fraud, feeling like I did not have what it took or takes to take my life to the next level. That is what I was experiencing during that period of time. And it was challenging. And that was what transitioned into my rock bottom sandwich, because I went from not having any of those skills to seeing my life continue to fall. And many of us need this period, because here's the thing that we need, the first thing that we need to teach us how to be men. You need a rite of passage. A rite of passage, and let me just paint a picture of what a rite of passage is. A rite of passage is an intentional journey that you agree to pursue a greater vision of who you could become as a man. A rite of passage is an intentional journey to see the greatest version of yourself. Many of us have not stepped into any types of rites of passage because we have pain aversion. We do anything and everything in our capacity to avoid pain. And the predominant form of pain that we are generally avoiding, there's 2 types of pain. What are the 2 types of pain? There's physical pain, and there's what? Emotional pain. Yay. That's it. We're seeking to avoid emotional pain. And so as a result of looking to avoid physical pain, so your body cannot tell the difference between emotional pain and physical pain. It sees them as the exact same thing. Imagined pain or imagined outcome, imagined threat and a real threat, your body receives it as the same thing. So if you dream of a lion and you see a lion, your body responds the same way. So the dream of emotional pain and the reality of emotional pain, your body receives it the same way. So many of us are so caught up in our own thought processes that we're not in the space of actually experiencing. So we avoid any rite of passage. So we avoid any moving through our emotional circumstances, the needing to confront shame, the needing to confront fear, the needing to confront any of these different constructs. And as a result of preventing ourselves from moving through these constructs, we find ourselves trapped in a state of being, in a way of being, in an identity. And it seems really logical, seems really rational. So what happens is that when you are trapped in that way of being, when you are trapped in that essence of yourself, here's what ends up happening. The way you get snapped out of it is when you hit a wall. Unfortunately, it's when you hit the wall. You see, I was already at rock bottom, and rock bottom didn't wake me up enough. So I had to hit double rock bottom, the rock bottom sandwich. And so many of you are at an inflection point where you're hitting the wall. And here's what the wall looks like. You just got served with the divorce papers, or you know they're coming. You know you're in a relationship, and you know you're in a committed relationship to somebody who you don't love. You got everything, kids, house, money, family, and you hate your life. These are some of the constructs that have subsequently been created because you have not hit the wall. Because here's what happens as a result of this. So the shame makes us hide. The shame turns us inward. And then subsequently, as a result, then we create an imagined reality. We create this imagined reality where everything is just hunky-dory. Yeah, everything's good. But what's happening is that we are preventing ourselves from the full range of experiencing. We're preventing ourselves from fulfillment because we're afraid to feel. The current paradigm that we have created in our lives, the imagined constraints are too great and the risk is too great. So we would rather hide in an imagined reality than create the reality that we really want for ourselves. We're not willing to move through the rite of passage. The rite of passage is the journey through your current state of being. And many of you are not willing to do it alone, which is one of the reasons that coaching is so valuable. I wasn't willing to do it alone, by the way. I needed support. I needed help. I needed guidance. I needed mentorship because I wasn't willing to do it alone. I needed another man to look me in the eyes and tell me, dude, your life is too valuable to look and to continue in the current state of things. Your life is too valuable. You got too much going for you. You need to move through this rite of passage. It is necessary. You need to have a critical conversation with your partner, which I was unwilling to have. You need to seek greater reflection in your life as it relates to your business endeavors, which I wasn't willing to do. You need to seek a different relationship with food and with all those things so that you can get into greater health, which I wasn't willing to approach or to create. I can figure it out. Just like the guys who go, I can skip the doctor because I can figure it out on my own. The shame that men feel, the shame that men experience, the shame that we all are accustomed to dealing with on an ongoing basis because we feel like we should know it all and be able to do it all. I'm going to tell you something. You don't need to do it all. You don't need to know it all. All you have to be is committed to finding the answers. Your rite of passage awaits you. Where are you not asking for help? Where are you not seeking reflection? Intentional reflection. I can't tell you how many clients come to me and one of the first things that I do is I give them a process that I walk them through where they can seek reflection from people in their universe and in their ecosystem, the people that their sphere of influence. And It's just something new. 30s, 40s, 50s. Never ask people for feedback. Feedback is the breakfast of champions. Feedback is the breakfast of champions. Don't ever forget it. And for you to move through your rite of passage, you need feedback, you need support, and you need courage. Feedback, support, and courage. Where have you been ineffective in your way of being? Where have you been effective? And where are you subsequently looking to go in your life? Like, this is part of the opportunity that you have to really to take this life that you want to start to pull this idea, this conceptual idea that's floating in the ethos, and pull it together in a way that is tangible and real to you. And what it's going to take in this moment is for you to go all in, to fully commit to creating a new paradigm, like a new reality for yourself, so that you can create a new possibility in your life and for the people that matter the most to you. Like, this is the time for you to transform your entire situation. If there were ever a time, this is the time to do it. This is the time to go all in. Are you willing to go on a rite of passage? Are you willing to take the steps that are necessary to go on this, again, this rite of passage, this journey to see who you get to become as a result of stepping into a new possibility for yourself? So it's really, really critical for us as men to move through a rite of passage. A rite of passage is a ceremony or ritual which occurs when an individual leaves one group and enters into another. So, leaving one group, entering into another. Here's what's happening. We are thinking that the rite of passage that we need to experience is financial, is the acquisition of money. That's what gets us from one group into the next. We think that leaving one group and entering another is that it goes, oh, you know what? If I make more money, then I'm going to leave one group and enter the next. I get to elevate my status. But here's the thing. And I'm calling you guys forward. So just listen closely. All right? Listen closely. Some of you are liars and you don't even know it. Some of you are liars and you don't even know it. You don't even know. As a result of this, you don't even know the value and the possibility associated with being honest or transparent about where you're really at. You're too caught up in the idea that whatever you're experiencing, you need to conceal. The hardest part in this situation is the realization that you need to conceal who you really are to get to the next level. When in actuality, your transparency and your vulnerability in any given moment are greater assets because they produce a more valuable result than cash, which is trust. And some of you don't value trust over money. You would rather take money over trust. And so your rite of passage, or the conceptual rite of passage, is if I make more money, then I can achieve greater status, and having greater status gets me to the next level, when in actuality, all it does is make you untrustworthy and rich, or untrustworthy and more well off. What would happen if the rite of passage to get you from one level to the next was just your willingness to drop the guard? So there's a process that you can actually go through to achieve this dropping of the guard. And it's a process that I walk some of my clients through, which I invite you to send me a message to ask me about, because it's really powerful. It's a 360 survey. All right. It's a survey where you're seeking greater reflection. It's an opportunity for you to seek what you are doing effectively, what you are doing ineffectively, and how you are showing up in the world. So one of the things that we get to do is you get to ask people some really provocative and powerful questions. But here's what it takes. Before I give you the survey, here's what it takes. It takes courage. It takes willingness to understand that there's aspects of your life that are not working. This is about your rite of passage. This is me teaching you how to move from where you currently are to where it is that you are looking to go. The first thing that you need to do is come to the awareness that there's some aspect of your life that is not working. What aspect of that life is it? But to the best of your ability, identify it, write it down. What aspect of your life is not working? Because to create a life that works, you have to acknowledge that there's something in your life that does not work. So that's the first thing. Awareness. There has to be a desire of a new possibility in your life. What's the desire? What are you looking to achieve? Who are you looking to become? So now that you have this awareness of something that's not working, a desire of who you could possibly become, now we're actually in a space because now we have a gap. I want to become this. I'm not yet. There's something here that's not working. Now we have a gap. To bridge the gap, curiosity. Curiosity bridges the gap. So now to get to the next phase, curiosity. The value of the questions that you ask will determine the quality of your life. Please make no mistake about it. That is a principle that I live by. The quality of the questions that you ask will determine the quality of your life. I had a conversation with a guy the other day. I was talking to him and I was telling him about, he knows I coach high performing men. He knows how much money I make, to some degree. And I was having a conversation with him, and I know he's struggling in his business. I know he's struggling in his life. I know he's struggling in his relationship. I know he's struggling with his kids. I know he's struggling in every aspect of his life. And I called him out of service, and I asked him straight up, I directly asked him, I said, dude, if there was one thing that I could do to serve you in this moment, I just called him out of love. I told him, look, I ain't got no offer for you. I ain't got no program. All I want to do is see how I can serve you. And if there was one thing that you feel like I could provide for you in this moment, anything that you feel like you could learn from me, or a question that you could ask me, or anything like that, whatever it is, what do you think it could be? I said, you don't even need to answer that question now. You don't even need to answer the question now. But just if you need time, take time, respond to me when you can. He followed back up with me. He asked me for a tax attorney. I was like, a tax attorney? Got it. I mean, look, if that's what he felt like he needed, then so be it. If that is what he felt like would get him to the next level, a tax attorney, so be it. Some of you are asking ineffective questions. Look, if that's the question that he wanted to ask, he asked it. Yep, he did. And he could have asked a ton of questions, a myriad of questions in relation to his business, states of being, into any of those different areas of his life that he may have been struggling, which he clearly identified to me, which I will not declare just by virtue of confidentiality, even though he's not a client, but I just keep conversations like that, private. But wow, a tax attorney. That was it. That was the question of the century. That was the burning question. The idea though is that if we are not willing to let down the guard, if we're not willing to let down the guard, if we're not willing to open ourselves up to greater introspection, then you will prevent yourself from seeing a greater possibility of yourself. Like if you got one shot, you better ask a really powerful and provocative question for yourself. Challenge yourself to do that. Don't ask for a referral. Something you can find on Yelp. I'm offering this because as you are moving from where you are at in the issue, some aspect of your life that you feel like is not working, the next level or next iteration of yourself that you feel like is working, then what becomes the possibility? Here's what becomes the possibility. Introspection through surveying. All right. So what I am inviting you to do is to do a 360 survey. I am inviting you to ask for reflection. All right. Everybody says, never give up, always, pursue things, be persistent. My personal principle is be persistent while practicing. Be persistent while practicing refinement through routine reflection. Be persistent while practicing refinement through routine reflection. Some of you aren't getting feedback enough. And that in and of itself is a rite of passage. Being willing to have someone provide you with the reflection, and these people are people that you trust. So some of you have not built up a network of individuals with whom you trust. So seeking feedback from some individuals would be a recipe for disaster. So this is an opportunity for you to seek reflection from individuals with battle-tested knowledge to be able to get the information or the reflection that you want. So people with battle-tested knowledge, you want people who have a vested interest as stakeholders in your life, family, kids, relationships, friends. You want people who actually give a shit about you, and you want people who you hold in high regard, not someone who you feel is detrimental or dangerous to you. Now, if everybody in your universe feels detrimental or dangerous, that's another conversation. But what I am offering is that your rite of passage is waiting for you, so that you need to set the hit. So here's the 3-phase plan. You need to identify what is not working in your life. You need to identify where it is that you are looking to go, the vision of the person that you want to be. And the bridge towards that is curiosity. Curiosity occurs and does occur in this real world. And your rite of passage in this moment, you are not going to go out and fight a damn lion or a tiger or anything like that. So I'm not asking you to do that or ayahuasca. What I'm asking you to do is look someone in the eye and ask for some reflection or feedback about who they think you are. That is your rite of passage. Curiosity. And remember this principle: to be persistent while practicing refinement through routine reflection. Allow yourself to be received by someone else so that you can see what they are seeing in you. And then using that information to inform this next version of yourself. Some people may say you're too transactional. Some people may say that you're inconsiderate. Some people may say you're unavailable. Some people may say that you're any different in things. Some people may say that you're quiet. Some people may say that whatever it is, this is where you get to get the feedback. I didn't say go out and fight a lion. I didn't say go out and fight a tiger, but many of you are not willing to give feedback. And feedback is the breakfast of champions. Feedback. You seek it. If you seek it, you can transition to the human being that you are looking to be. I told y'all I was going to give y'all some life-changing stuff. So the state of men is that because of the shame, we are not willing to seek reflection from individuals. And my offering to you is, here's how you achieve your rite of passage, is that you're not taught to be men, because generally you're not taught how to be anything. We're told how to be men, but we're not taught. So here's what I'm teaching you. Seek routine reflection. Be persistent while practicing refinement through routine reflection. How do you do it? Through a 360 survey. There's an environment that you're doing. So what you're doing is you're actually you're letting people know that you're seeking reflection, and you're letting them know I'm not going to be defensive, responsive, or defend myself in any way, shape, or form. Hit me up. I'll give you the form. Hit me up. I'll give it to you. I'll provide it for you. All right? Seek routine reflection. This is an opportunity for you to step up and to step in and to take your life to the next level. Powerful stuff. Powerful stuff. You want to know what it's like to go all in? This is what it means to go all in. Thank you for watching Going All In, a podcast for men. Episode 1, the state of men, rites of passage, the importance of seeking reflection, and being told versus being taught. I look forward to y'all reaching out for the 360 survey. Shoot me a message. We'll make sure that the 360 survey is available for you, or you can download it here. But now is the time where you need to go out and seek reflection from the people that matter the most to you, and be ready, because this is your emotional rite of passage. This is how you transition to the version of the human being that you want to be. I'm looking forward to seeing y'all, to stepping in, to going all in, and to helping you become the new version of the man that you want to be, and helping you reinvent yourself. Looking forward to seeing y'all on episode 2. Catch y'all later. Firestarter out. Fuego.